This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly entertainment podcast where this week we are reviewing Total Recall, spoiler-free. We're going to look at upcoming releases including The Expendables 2 and Sparkle. Our From the Outside In topic this week is going to be a listener's topic on video game films. I can't wait for that. Latest in movie and TV news, our own trivia and Flashback DVD segments, including our t-shirt contest winner. I'm a Ho t-shirts are available at thehollywoodoutsider.com. You can always subscribe on our site, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or anywhere else you can find an RSS feed. With that, my name is Aaron Peterson. I'll be your host. With me today are my fellow host, Scott Clark.
I'm Scott Clark, and I actually am looking forward to the From Outside In topic this week.
I know you are. And Justin McCumber.
Hey, man, I am keeping calm, chiving on.
And Brian Williams.
Hey, no cross-promotion here.
We appreciate that. Okay. One thing I wanted to kind of mention real quick is we had our first airing on RockfordCollegeRadio.com last week.
Where you can't have Rockford without the rock.
It's a pretty prominent college radio station. We've been doing this for a while, but it's kind of interesting hearing ourselves on the radio.
Yeah.
Which you can always do Thursdays from 4 to 6. What do you guys think of that? Was that odd?
It is a little
It's so
weird.
natural, man.
Well, of course you would
Felt
say
good.
that.
Felt good to me. I don't know about you.
Let's just jump right into movie news. Joss Whedon has signed to write and direct Avengers 2, as well as confirmed to assist on a Marvel TV property, which we talked about, I don't know, a week or two ago, which makes us, I don't know, geniuses at some point. Details are pretty slim on that, what that property is going to be, though.
Yeah, this is the best news in a long time, I think. And I think it just really kind of assures the franchise or even franchises are in some pretty good hands here for quite a while. But what do you guys think about the possibility of a TV show?
Well, I talked about it before, and I'm not interested.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea, but it's not something that I'm gonna make time to watch.
Both of you.
I'm really interested. It depends on, who they've got running the show and all that. But hell yeah, expand that property.
What do you
we live in a meta storytelling kind of world. It doesn't all have to be TV. You can do it through all sorts of media. So sure, what the fuck.
But aren't you concerned they're going to use the lowest tiered characters for that? Because all the major characters they're utilizing for the films.
In an article last week, when it was all speculation at the time, they did speculate that they wouldn't be using the larger characters like Iron Man and Thor. There's still a lot of characters out there that they can use. And Marvel and DC too, for that matter, just the comic book industry they're so great at doing crossover promotions and crossover stories and stuff to where they can weave a bit of a storyline from the TV show to the movies and just make you spend all that much more money on Disney, Marvel properties.
As far as Joss Whedon, I'm not really surprised. I mean, with the success of the first film, it just makes sense to
I think they did whatever they had to do to tie him up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they should do like a Firefly Marvel property.
Oh, man. Don't you mean name redacted?
Yeah. No, that would be Avengers.
We can mention Avengers 2.
Oh, okay, that's
movie.
a good point.
Just saying, we can mention Avengers.
I think we can
Avengers.
retire name redacted for a little while.
Exactly.
Since it's not coming up constantly anymore, hopefully it's not an irritant to certain folk out there.
Warner Brothers is going to move The Great Gatsby from Christmas 2012 to summer 2013, apparently so the film does not compete with the other Leonardo DiCaprio flick, Django Unchained.
The D is silent.
Thank you, Justin. Also, White House Down, Roland Emmerich's White House hostage action flick starring Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx has been pushed up from November 2013 to June 28th, 2013, because they're trying to get ahead of The Olympus Has Fallen, a similar action flick starring Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart.
I don't think either of these are really big surprises. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. I mean, to keep the two Leonardo DiCaprio movies away and the two similar themed movies apart. I mean, my only concern, I don't know if concern's the right word, but you're going to kind of have the Armageddon versus Deep Impact thing. Whichever one's going to get released first is going to get the bigger buzz and probably do better. By the time the segment comes around, don't you think a lot of the people will be
I don't know. I think the better movie will win out. I think Snow White and Mirror Mirror kind of proved that this summer, where Mirror Mirror came out first, but was, from what I could tell, total shit.
Well, don't you think the rating kind of might have had something to do with that too? Wasn't Mirror Mirror a PG as opposed to?
Well, I mean, they're in that case they're really two different flicks.
They really are.
Yeah, White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen sounds like the exact same movie,
Right?
roughly. But one has Channing Tatum, and from what I hear, he's popular right now.
Yeah.
With the kids.
With the kids.
Yeah.
Is he going to be
Ladies.
dancing?
I bet he will now.
Does one of them have a deep core driller, though? Because that will be the one I'll go see.
Only the best.
Only the best.
What do you think about The Great Gatsby? Because that really seems like a Christmas kind of release. It's not like a summer movie.
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of what I
It
thought.
does feel like a Christmas release, but the movie doesn't really do much for me either way, no matter what time of year. So I don't know, but and that's kind of ballsy, really. Just when you figure out what's some of the big movies coming out next summer. I mean, isn't Captain America coming out?
No, that's coming out in 2014.
Oh, okay. But Iron Man 3 is out.
Iron Man 3, Man of Steel, usual comic book flicks. I'm sure some sequels. I haven't really looked at it too deep yet.
So,
Have you read The Great Gatsby, Brian?
yeah, years ago.
Years ago? I haven't, so I'm actually kind of interested to see because I don't know anything about the story. So, but like you guys said,
It's a good book, and I'm sure it's a pretty good movie. It's just not one that draws my interest too much.
I'm sure you can listen to it somewhere, Scott. The Dark Tower deadline is coming close, and therefore Warner Brothers has to pull the trigger soon if they want to get a film going. Javier Bardem is officially out of the. I'm just going to change his name anyway.
Javier.
Javier Bardem is officially out of the running, and now it looks like Russell Crowe is in talks to take on the role of Roland Deschain.
I'm not really sure if I see Russell Crowe as Roland. I certainly see him more than I did Javier Bardem.
You're welcome.
If they were to come to me and ask who I thought should be playing Roland, my first choice would probably be Viggo Mortensen. And if they couldn't get him, then maybe Timothy Olyphant. But having Russell Crowe in it gives me a little more confidence that they would put some actual effort into making these films what they need to be. I'm just not. I have been burned too many times by news about potential Dark Tower movies. I'm not willing to put any kind of personal investment in this until I actually see some real, actual signatures on contracts, real news. This is happening. Because in the past it's been movies, now TV shows, now we're doing both. Now it looks like they're back to films. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But Russell Crowe's not a bad choice. He just wouldn't have been my first one.
No, I think he can. From what I know about the character, and obviously I have not read the books, but from what I know about the character, I think he could fit the bill.
He could.
Quality-wise. I agree with you that from what I understand, Timothy Olyphant would probably be a better choice.
Because that dude was just born with a gun in his hand.
Yeah, because I imagine somebody maybe slightly younger, not much, but just a little bit, and somebody slimmer.
Yeah, well, that's why, Viggo Mortensen, when I saw him in the Lord of the Rings films, he really had that kind of grizzled look. The long hair didn't quite work for Roland, but he really had a grizzled look. But I think it was A History of Violence that really started making me see him more as a Roland type of character. I just think he has that air of, I have been across the world chasing the man in black kind of look to him. Timothy Olyphant doesn't quite, but he definitely looks like when you see him with a gun, it's a damn convincing look.
Well, Jennifer Lawrence from The Hunger Games is negotiating a deal to star in The Ends of the Earth. It's about a powerful oil tycoon who has everything stripped from him after he has an affair with Liddy. She's also renegotiating her Hunger Games Catching Fire salary from the $500,000 she was paid for the first film. And keep in mind, the first movie made like $400 million domestically to $10 million.
As far as Ends of the Earth goes, I guess before people start getting too irate about having an affair with Liddy, it's his ex-stepdaughter, which he apparently in the divorce made sure that
he got her in the divorce.
he annulled the adoption apparently. I guess the guy's like 58, she's like 25, 28, in that range by this time. So it is based on a true story. Apparently, she's kind of known for is she really kind of contributed to the raising the workers' wages and getting them a lot of medical care that they really didn't get before.
Oh, so she's a positive influence.
Yeah, it's not a Woody Allen type of relationship movie.
So positive
Necessary.
and looks like Jennifer Lawrence. Win-win. Go oil tycoon.
Hey, if she's not blood relation, it's on. Am I right, Brian? Am I right?
High five, baby.
That's right.
That's their motto where he lives.
As far as the renegotiating, I'm not surprised that she's doing that because of the success of the first film. But man, that's a hell of a jump.
I think it's too low.
Really?
Just yeah, I agree. I don't know if she's 20 million, but 12 to 15, I would say that's what. Just give her a checkbook. Just say, look, fill it out, whatever you want.
Look, she is that series. If she's
Absolutely.
not in the next movie, that movie's not there.
That's true.
And they made a mint, so they should pay her. And she made that movie. She carried it all on her shoulders. I mean, newer actress and everything else. This is her big claim right here. She should get the money.
I just wonder how you renegotiate. I mean, she's already signed contracts. What kind of leverage would she have to renegotiate from? I mean, what would her position be other than the studio saying, all right, yeah, you're right. You helped us earn all this money. So out of the goodness of our heart,
Yeah.
we'll renegotiate. I'm kind of wondering, these sort of deals, I'm always curious what actually happened.
They almost have to, because they can find a way out of it. There's always a way out of contracts, and I think the agents know exactly what they're doing, and they're prepared. If this movie's a monster hit, we're going to renegotiate so that the next time. And I think the studio doesn't want to have any ill feelings because they need her, and they don't want her to not bring everything she has, so they're willing to work with her.
Yeah,
It's just like
it needs to be smooth for the next few years.
Yeah, they don't want any PR stunts where she shows up and pulls a Kristen Stewart or something. You know?
Aren't they starting to film that pretty soon, though?
What? Catching Fire starts in like a couple months, I think. Ben Affleck is apparently being courted by Warner Brothers to direct a Justice League movie. That's right, I said Justice League. That's DC's Superman, Aquaman, Batman, Aquaman.
Two Aquaman?
There's so many Aquaman. He is the only person that they have sent a script to, so he's the one they're serious about.
This is a really interesting story when I read this, because Ben Affleck, like we know, did what Gone Baby Gone and The Town, which were two pretty gritty crime movies, or Boston, bad shit going down movies, and then to bring that to the Justice League. I mean, they seem like they're going that. Are they going to go that gritty route?
Well, it seems like not Men. No, there's a couple super guys flying around. Man of Steel seems like it's going the Christopher Nolan route. Mm-hmm. I mean, very realistic and gritty.
Right.
So maybe that's what they're going to do with a Justice League movie. I don't know.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't mind the Ben Affleck being a director, but what scares me is that he's got this thing that's in his contracts that he signs when he signs on to direct, that he has to star in the movie.
You know who I could see him playing?
Daredevil?
Green
Aquaman.
Lantern.
Aquaman.
Everybody is probably going to get all up in arms.
Wonder Woman.
So everybody, it's feedback at HollywoodOutsider.com.
It's dumbass at Hollywood Outsider.
The Hollywood Outsider. Don't forget the
I
the.
could actually see him playing Batman.
Fuck you. What?
No, I'm telling you, I could see him playing Batman. Hate me?
I
All
can
right.
see it too, and it's not a good picture.
I liked him as Daredevil. Fuck all the haters of that film. I thought Daredevil was a fun, interesting movie. I think Ben Affleck has just, for some reason, gotten the strange reputation as being a bad actor that I think is undeserved. I think he could actually pull off a Batman character, especially in the Nolan style of a darker, kind of grittier Batman. I would be all right with that, but I was talking with some other people about this news article earlier, and some people weren't quite convinced that he could direct the film because it's an ensemble type movie, and he hasn't really handled a big ensemble cast before, not like a Justice League movie would require. Whereas, Joss Whedon had, and many times he's done ensembles. So we were kind of batting around who else we thought should direct it, and one name that came up that I entirely agree with. Unfortunately, he's already busy with other projects, but J.J. Abrams, I think, would have been an interesting choice to do a Justice League, because he has done many ensemble pictures, and I think the guy is an amazing action director. So that would have been an interesting route to go. But Ben Affleck, I don't think it's a bad choice to direct. I don't think he'd be a bad choice in certain roles either. That's all I'm saying. Just putting it out there.
I think it's ballsy. That's a pretty big property to give to, because most of the movies he's done has been little or lesser known stories.
I don't think it's any more ballsy than giving the Avengers to Joss Whedon.
Or hell, giving Iron Man to Jon Favreau.
Yeah, that's an even bigger one.
I mean, Elf.
And Zathura.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was pretty bad.
I see what you're saying about Ben Affleck. He's just not there for me. I mean, I like him in certain roles. I really like him in supporting roles, but as a lead actor, and I'll give you Daredevil. I actually like Daredevil, especially the director's cut. I like that a lot more than I like the theatrical cut. But I don't think he was the problem with that movie. I didn't like the direction of that movie. I thought he was fine as Matt Murdock. I just really think that Batman, he does not carry the weight for me. I don't think he can carry the tortured soul. Like, I've seen him have plenty of chances to do it, and I don't think he does it right. I could totally see him directing it, though, because The Town, Gone Baby Gone, Argo, from what I've seen of it, looks very, very good. And it seems like he has a very good handle on direction. Mm-hmm. So I'm perfectly fine with him directing the film. I just don't know if I'd want him in front of the camera, unless he's playing Aquaman.
He was a bomb in Phantoms, yo.
Yeah, jeez. I am curious, like, who would they get for Wonder Woman? If they do a Justice League movie, they have to have Wonder Woman. And Charisma Carpenter's getting too old. A little too long in the tooth. So I don't know who you get for that, but that's one I want to see. Because
Gina Carano.
Oh, hell yes.
She's got the athletic ability. She's got the shape. She's got the...
Sign that up.
Yeah. Gina Carano.
She looks kind of Greek, you know.
Now,
she's got the dark hair.
Amazonians were Greek.
And if they did this, would they or would they not have to... Do you think they would reestablish Batman? Or would they just make it separate from whatever they do with the property in the future? What do you guys think?
I think you just got to start him up as... You don't reintroduce him. You just have him show up at a crime scene with another costume superhero. Go, what the hell are you doing here? What are you doing here?
I like it. Brian should write scripts. What's up?
Well, they can't do the
thing. CSI Gotham.
They can't do what they did with the Avengers. Like, we've already talked about this. You know, they can't have background movies for some of the characters and not for the others. You know, so you kind of have to just kind of start from scratch, I think.
Another issue they're having is that it's, if they were to kind of get the ball rolling today, kind of get this thing going, more than likely they wouldn't be able to get it out before 2015, which is the same year that Avengers 2 comes out. So then you're going head to head with Avengers 2.
They would never do that. That would never happen.
Oh my God! Could you imagine Comic-Con that year?
Oh man!
Let's go on to the whole mill. That's where we talk about rumors and conjecture. Scotty?
All right. We all do like movie news, but every once in a while something's worth mentioning that isn't even close to a done deal or just might be a rumor. That's where we have the whole mill. So just remember, these are not confirmed stories, but more or less idle speculation. We've just got one for the whole mill this week. It's X-Files producer Frank Spotnitz is screaming to the Fox in the heavens to get a third and final X-Files film off the ground. And this time to wrap up the series and focus on the alien mythology. Now, Justin, I know you're a big sci-fi guy. How are you feeling about this X-Files film?
Well, wasn't I just talking about this not that long ago? Mm-hmm. Did I not say that 2012 was the perfect year to have put this film out because that's when the alien invasion was supposed to happen?
You did.
I've been saying this for fucking years. So, Frank, thanks for getting on board the train. Now let's see if we can actually get this thing rolling. I would be ecstatic to get a final third X-Files film, wrap up the alien storyline the way it should have been. Give me some peace.
Now, do you agree with his comments? Because he made comments in several articles that he thought that a lot of people didn't go to the last movie because it was a mystery of or a Monster of the Week episode, basically.
Yes.
Do you really?
I completely, totally agree.
So if it would have aliens, you would be more inclined to watch it sooner.
Oh yes. Yes. I completely concur. I think that the film didn't do as well as it could have because it didn't have that X-Files mythology behind it. It was just a Monster of the Week sort of episode. If you would have replaced Fox and Scully with two other FBI agents, you would never have noticed. Never would have noticed. It was not an X-Files movie. I enjoyed it, but it was not, for me, an X-Files movie. It was just kind of an FBI movie. I want this to happen. Frank, call me. We'll talk. I'll write it. I'm a writer. I'll do it.
Okay, well, I want it to happen too, just because, it's going to shut Justin up. So
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. All right, thank you. First up, Heather Mason has been having some horrible nightmares since she was a little kid. But once her father disappears, she is lured into this alternate reality that has the answers. In this alternate reality lies a little town with ashes constantly raining down called Silent Hill. Silent Hill Revelation in theaters on October 26 picks up, I'm assuming, after the girl from the first one has grown up some. The first Silent Hill was a pleasant surprise for me personally, but as we'll probably discuss later, video game to movie translations don't always work. Which one of you guys are looking forward to seeing that scythe-wielding Pyramid Head guy in 3D?
I do like the character of Pyramid Head, but
I don't know what his name is. That's just,
It's Pyramid Head.
it literally
You're
is
right.
Pyramid Head.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was just being descriptive, not really.
Well, hey, good work.
Hey.
No, I'm not too interested in seeing this one, to be honest with you. The first film did a good job of recreating the atmosphere from the games. It wasn't a really great film. This one just looks like they're trying to cash in on the name a little bit more and make it more gory and make it 3D. As much as I would like to see more Pyramid Head just because that character's creepy, the film doesn't look too interesting. Are you with me, Justin? Or?
Fuck no, I think it looks cool.
I saw where this is going.
My questions, though, are more about the story, and maybe that's stupid on my part.
No.
But first off, Sean Bean's character in the first film wasn't John Mason. That was not his name. Secondly, the daughter in the first film stayed in the shadowy Silent Hill, or actually was with the mother, but the mother and her were like in some alternate reality. She didn't return with the father. And she was the dark-haired girl in the first film. This is what they're doing is they're taking Silent Hill 3, the game, and they're making a movie based on that game. But that father and that daughter were not the same father and daughter from Silent Hill, the first game. Separate characters. Now, the father is the same father from the second game, but we're going off on a tangent. I don't quite know why they got Sean Bean into this, other than just people may remember him from the first one. I don't think they needed him in this. That said, I'm actually fairly excited about this. I liked the Silent Hill film. It wasn't everything it could have been, but it was close enough that I really enjoyed myself watching it. To get more of that, especially from Silent Hill 3, which is an incredibly creepy game, I'm curious to see that. So we'll see. I mean, there are certain Resident Evil vibes to it when they start talking about the whole 3D and whatnot. It does give me a little pause, but we'll see. I'm a lover. I'm not a hater, so my heart is open to this film.
I'll definitely be seeing it. I'm just not expecting as much as you. I don't think.
I'm just hoping to have a good time and get a couple of scares.
Sure.
I'm pretty easy.
What about you, Aaron?
Oh, you had to ask me? I think it looks absolutely stupid. I was just going to let go. I wasn't even going to say anything about it. But Pyramid Head, whatever the hell, I don't care. Don't care about anything I saw in the trailer. I think the original movie I thought was awful.
Really?
Awful. Just awful.
Oh.
I like, was it Radha Mitchell? Was that who it was? I like her a lot. She's a very interesting actress. But the movie itself, it tried so hard and it just didn't hit any level for me.
Did you play the game ever?
Personally, I don't care. It's a movie. So, But no, I did not play the game. A movie should work on a movie's level. I never understand where I have to play the game to understand what's going on in the movie, which is what I felt like that movie was. Like I had to know what was going on, and that's not what a movie should be. So the whole time I'm just like, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I don't think it was awful, and like the filmmaking was awful because I think the atmosphere was done very well in the first one. I just don't think the story was told very well, and I just didn't care about anybody in the movie. This looks like more of the same. I know Sean Bean was in the first one, but I thought he was gone, so to speak. I can't remember.
No,
it's been so long since I saw
lived
it.
at the end.
Yeah, he lived, but I think you realize at the end of it, whenever his wife comes home, that she's actually dead or something like that. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Exactly.
So I looked at this trailer and I'm trying to find something to like about it because I know I knew Justin was going to like it, so I just was trying to find something I would like, something positive to say, and I just couldn't find it.
Was I insulted? I feel like I was insulted.
No, it was a compliment. That's because I knew you were going to like it, so I was trying to find something positive. I was trying to find something positive, and I just couldn't find it.
I knew
there's the hater Aaron that we all know and know.
Yes.
They did burn down a circus. That was kind of cool. Or something like a big top.
A little bit of trivia for you. The real Silent Hill, that this is actually based on the town of Centralia, Pennsylvania, where the town actually has been abandoned since November of 1974 due to fires burning in the coal mines. And they're still burning to this day.
Yeah. Now, the games actually aren't based on that town. In the game, the town is just shrouded in fog. But for whatever reason in the movie, they decided to give that fog more of a reason for existing. And so they borrowed that real town's story of that coal mine still burning to this day to give some justification for that fog look and the ash in the air. But on a very quick little note, for any of you who want to be scared, and I mean scared, play Silent Hill 2. That is probably the most horrific experience of my life. I'm talking books, movies, TV shows, whatever. Silent Hill 2, I had to play it 3 times before I had the balls to finish it. It's that scary. Wow. And we can move on. Because this ain't that podcast.
Don't worry, it probably won't be in the final cut anyway. Go ahead, Brian.
Fuck you. Don't you cut my shit.
All right, well, May 1st, 2011 was a day of closure for some, a day of happiness for others, and for even more others, just another reminder of the 9/11 tragedy. If you're not sure what's significant about that day, that was the day that Osama bin Laden was found and killed. Zero Dark 30, starring Joel Edgerton and directed by Catherine Bigelow, who made Hurt Locker, follows not only SEAL Team 6, but also gives controversial insight into the CIA missions that led to his finding. Why were they controversial, you might ask?
I do.
Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, production had already started on the movie when bin Laden was killed. Basically, that means top secret national security information was leaked to a Hollywood scriptwriter and director, and who knows who else. Actually, there was I believe a senator, Peter King, I believe, who actually wrote a letter to, I guess, his boss or whoever, saying, hey, what's going on with this? This is, these people have got access to top secret information here that could endanger the lives of others, and it kind of raised a big stink there last year. So I know most of you guys aren't really into the military films, but I don't know, Aaron, does this look like a movie you'd go see, or would you rather be crammed into a Hurt Locker?
No. Nice job. I'm already there. Whenever it opens, I'm going opening weekend.
Really?
This is my kind of movie. Yeah, I love, I wouldn't dare call it political because I just think it's relevant to the current climate. And even though, we kind of get how a story goes, I mean, what happens, I really want to see, I like to see this behind the scenes stuff. I like to see the focus. I like to see the military actions that took place to get to this point, or at least as much as we know about it. That to me is exciting. I think you can really make that riveting. I think it might be a little too close to the actual events, honestly, because it didn't happen too long ago. But,
and apparently these guys were, these movie people were, I'm assuming, right there getting all the information as it's going down.
Mm-hmm. They must have been.
Which is pretty unprecedented.
I'm with you on it being interesting to know how all that went down and the specifics and what they went through. But this trailer did not make me really excited about seeing the film. I don't know. There's something weird about the way it was shot. It wasn't really clear until towards the very end what was actually going on. I don't really get a good. It was one of those trailers that cut out and had a bunch of black in between where there's just audio, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to see more to get really excited about it. But I am excited about learning about how everything went down. But that's me.
Did we even really see?
Well, there's not
any of the movie.
Yeah, it just seemed like a bunch of
really not much.
It's more of a tone thing than anything, and because of that, I left it kind of like, all right, I didn't see any movie. I just got what it's about.
Right.
That's a teaser trailer. Yeah. I mean, it's really what it is.
Yeah, but a lot of teaser trailers will actually show me shit from the film. I don't feel like I saw anything from the film.
Well, according to Joel Edgerton in another article about the movie he's got coming out the one with the kid that grows out of the ground.
Oh, the Odd Life of Tim Green?
Yeah, that one. He actually said that because there's some controversy, or that it was originally supposed to be released in October, but they did, because with the elections in November, they didn't want it to feel like they were trying to sway voters or anything like that, so they moved it back to December. And basically, he was like, "Look, I just wrapped up filming in July, so I don't know how those guys can how fast they can tweak the knobs and push the buttons, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening before December." All right, and Zero Dark 30 hits theaters on December 19th, later this year. All right, well, you guys can check out these trailers and so much more at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. And if you got something to say, I want to hear it. So our email is feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. You can reach us on Twitter at @H_outsider. And go to facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider, where you can leave messages, ask questions, get a little news, but it'll cost you. You just got to click the like button.
Oh, look at that. He's been writing again. Okay.
Is that what this thing with all the letters are on sitting in front of me?
Stump the HO.
Stump the HO. Each week, one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes. HO stands for Hollywood Outsider, not actual prostitutes. This week, it's my turn. So here's my question. You guys ready?
Waiting in bated breath.
Okay. In the 1990 original of Total Recall, an actor before Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually signed to play Doug Quaid and was prepping for filming. The original production company went bankrupt and the project was picked up by Carolco, who was Arnold Schwarzenegger's affiliation. I mean, he was affiliated with them. So who was the original actor that was signed to play Doug Quaid? Was it A, Dennis Quaid, B, Patrick Swayze, C, Bruce Willis, or D, Steven Seagal? Scott.
I'm going to say A, Dennis Quaid.
Okay. Brian?
I'm going to let Justin go because I know this answer.
I'm going to go because I know you worship at the altar of Dennis Quaid. I will go with Dennis Quaid as well.
Okay. And Brian?
I'm going to go with Patrick Swayze.
All right. Well,
I want to change my vote.
Can I change my answer too?
we will learn the
After
answer.
thinking about it a bit more.
Yeah.
Screw that. We'll learn the answer to the question later in the show, so stick around. Oh. Now let's go to the big screen where each week we review.
Hurry!
Each week we review any new releases. This week we're going to review Total Recall, and we mean the new one, not the old Arnie one. So Justin, why don't you start us off?
Total Recall is, like I said a few weeks ago when we talked about this a little bit as an upcoming movie. It is based on a Philip K. Dick short story called We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. It is also a remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger film. And it's the story of Doug Quaid, who is a menial worker, unsatisfied with his life. And he is suffering from dreams of a more exciting and somewhat troubled life that plague him during the day. In an effort to add something to his life, he goes to Recall to have some fake memories implanted. In the process of that, learns that he may be more than he thought himself to be. Gunplay ensues. That's the basic gist of this Total Recall. Now, in the opening of this film, they started off with a bit of text. After a bunch of wars, most of the world is now covered in these chemicals that makes it unlivable. So most of humanity has clustered itself into some areas where it's safe. One of them in Great Britain, where it seems like the richer folk live. And then you've got everybody else down in the colony of Australia. And they have managed to dig a tunnel from one end of the earth to the other it's called the Fall, that these people in Australia take to get to Britain to work these jobs building battle droids and things of that sort. Let's start off talking about the story first. There are some differences between this film and the Arnold Schwarzenegger film, like I said. I don't know if we really want to talk about what a lot of those differences are, but one pretty highly publicized one is that there is no getting any ass to Mars. The only one getting shit to Mars right now is NASA and their rovers.
Woohoo.
This yeah, woohoo, by the way. Great job, guys. This film stays squarely on Earth. Did you think the story really worked? Did you feel like it was lacking? Did you like the changes that were made from the first one? Kind of what are your general impressions?
I personally like the fact that it took place on Earth. I like how they explained how basically the majority of 75 or 80% of the Earth is uninhabitable. I thought it was kind of an ingenious way of doing it. I kind of liked how they did that, personally.
I really
like the rest of it.
And I like how they retained what was important about the original, which is the struggle between, the oppressor and the lower class, which was a big part of the story in the original. But, they decided there's really no reason to have it on Mars, I guess.
Well, then the short story, there was no Mars either. I mean, there were Mars elements, but he never went to Mars in the story. So I think they kind of went back to the short story a little bit.
There was little things that bugged me though, as far as content, like Justin was talking about the tunnel that they put through Earth to go from Great Britain to Australia,
because the planes don't fly apparently.
Well, that seemed like
it's a much faster journey to go through as opposed to over and around.
Fair enough.
But
that's what Harry Stamper did for him.
That's right. Best deep core driller in the business.
Deep core drilling right there.
Doesn't that seem like a hell of a commute for work every day, though?
It seems like it, but I don't know how long it takes.
Trip at 17 minutes.
It seems like they made it pretty quick. Yeah, 17 minutes.
17 minutes.
Yeah.
What about the romance element of it? I mean, first, just like in the original film, he wakes up married to an incredibly attractive woman. Come to find out she may not be everything she's supposed to be either, and then another woman comes into the picture. Did you feel like the romance aspect with either of those women in this film worked? Did they work for you?
I was hard to pick up on any romance in it. As far as the drama and the confusion between which woman is on his side, I didn't have but a fraction of it in this movie versus the Schwarzenegger version.
Yeah, in the original, I mean, now granted you've seen the story, so you kind of know how it plays out.
Right.
But I was never confused. Like once it all flipped, and plus they give you and this is not a spoiler because it happens at the very beginning of the movie. Okay. The clip that they do, the scene that they do at the very beginning to introduce who Doug Quaid is, was very similar to the opening sequence of the original, but the original does a much better job of making it feel like it was a dream. Does that make sense?
Right.
Where this felt like it was just a prelude.
Yeah.
So a prologue, so to speak. It did not feel like it was a dream at all. And even though they played it out like it was a dream, it just never felt like that at all. To me, personally. So I never had I'm with Brian. I never had any doubt exactly how this movie was going. I didn't think that they were trying very hard with the confusion of the plot, which should have been a big part of it, which is he really there? Is it really is it a dream? Is he in recall? What is he doing? It's very much oh shit, they woke him up.
The only other thing I wanted to ask about it, and this is not spoiling anything as well, the first film ended with an ending that really left you wondering, was it a dream? Mm-hmm. Was it real? This one didn't really feel like it had that sort of ending at all. It felt pretty definitive. Do you guys agree with me on that? And do you think that the original sort of ending, that ambiguous, inception-y sort of ending, was better? Or did you like leaving the theater feeling like you knew how this ended and what the story was?
Well, be very careful because we don't want to spoil anything. But
right, you don't have to say how it ended.
Right.
But
I think it was very crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
It was not ambiguous at all. I agree with you. The original, because we just rewatched the original one.
Do you prefer that though, or do you like ambiguity?
No, I like the ambiguity. Yep. For this kind of movie, I prefer it.
I was going to say the same thing. For this type of movie, I prefer the ambiguity also.
Mm-hmm. I had a hard time caring either way because I wasn't invested in the characters that much. I didn't really care by the end of the movie whether it was real or not. I mean,
you just wanted to leave.
No, not like I just wanted out. I just didn't care. I wasn't invested in the characters enough to.
How many Facebook updates did you go through while you were watching this movie?
I turn my phone off during movies now. Thank you very much.
See, that's what happens when you give Scott some crap.
Well, but that leads us right in, though, to the acting part of it. Nobody would ever accuse Arnold Schwarzenegger of being a Shakespearean-level thespian. And really nobody, in my opinion, in that original Total Recall was displaying any sort of high acting chops. It felt very fun, but also really kind of campy. I thought in this one they went for a much more gritty, darker feel. Were there any characters that you especially, or in performances that you liked, and were there some that you just didn't care for at all.
Well, my favorite performance in this movie has by far be Kate Beckinsale. She.
Why do you keep calling her Beckinsdale?
Beckinsale.
Beckinsale.
There's no
There's
D.
there's no D.
All right, can we back it up then? Can I start?
Hell
over?
no. Let's just go.
As we all know, she's a beautiful woman, and she looks amazing in this film as well. But she has this pissed offness throughout this entire movie that I've never seen in another movie with her. That just really sold me on her. Like she plays a good, she plays her character well. And I'm trying to see this without dancing around what's going on. But
No, it's in the trailer.
She is an intense.
Okay.
She is playing a very intense character in this
yes,
movie.
very intense, very angry, which just makes her even more attractive for some reason. I enjoyed watching every scene that she was in, whether it be the way she delivered her lines or the way that the action
delivering
scenes.
the sleepwear that she was.
Yes, that too. That was very nice. Colin Farrell, who I'm actually not usually a big fan of, he really sold me on this as far as his believability. He did the whole like I don't know what's going on. Why do I know why is this stuff automatically happening? And the panic feeling that he had, I really bought him on that. I just didn't buy his emotions as far as the love interest between one of the two girls.
Completely opposite. I thought Colin Farrell was boring.
Really?
Just bland. The guy's got charisma for days. I mean, he's a really charismatic guy, but it seems to me he's only charismatic in supporting roles, it seems like. Because, I mean, Fright Night, supporting role, he was fantastic. Just
awesome.
Just own that. Horrible
In
Bosses.
Bruges?
Yeah. I mean, anything he does, Horrible Bosses, he was great in supporting roles. But it seems like he gets a lead role like this, and he just bored the piss out of me. I prefer Schwarzenegger. I prefer the acting of Schwarzenegger.
And I could not disagree more.
Well, of course not.
And
I said it.
in my opinion, if you want to do a remake and you want to do it well, apparently you hire Colin Farrell. I thought the guy was actually fantastic. I thought every scene he was in, he was pulling his weight, doing an amazing job of carrying that character forward. I believed him the entire time. There are some real moments where he has to question, am I dreaming or is this real? And I bought it. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Colin Farrell, I have yet to really be disappointed in a performance from him. And this is just another one that really impressed me. And I got to agree with Scotty. Kate Beckinsale is a force of nature in this film. And when she starts unleashing the violence, I was spellbound, and not because she's so pretty, but because she is such an ass kicker. I didn't see it coming, and I've seen, we've all seen Underworld. We've seen her shoot guns and do some kicks and whatnot. In this movie, she's taken it to a whole new level, and I don't know if it's because her husband's the director and he wants his wife to look as good as possible, but she was outstanding, and I was so glad that in this film, her character is an amalgam of a couple of characters from the first movie. And so she gets a lot more to do than Sharon Stone did.
And she does a very cool thing with her, and I'm not going to say what it is because, I want people to experience it when they actually see it. But she does a thing with her accent.
Oh, yes.
That just worked wonders with the character. It just made me go,
yeah.
holy shit, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
And you'll see it you'll know it when it happens, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
But she was great. I every time she was on the screen, I was mesmerized, just waiting for her to unleash some ass kickery. The only performance I really was kind of left a little wanting by was Jennifer Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel, she's fine, but she's really not given a lot to do, and she's really, all right. I wished her character would have been fleshed out more. Of the three leads, I definitely think two of them did more than enough to carry that third one. I really enjoyed the acting. I was blown away by Kate Beckinsale and Colin Farrell both.
You were blown away by Colin Farrell?
I liked him. I
did
really,
too.
especially in the scene where you see him, a recording of him, and he looks different and he's kind of acting different. He seemed like a different person. And I like that when an actor can actually play two different versions of himself and each of them be very different.
Brian,
I liked him.
Did you like Colin Farrell?
I wasn't
better.
blown away. I wasn't blown away by him. I thought he was adequate. There were some times where he was believable, but there was one point in the movie where he's already got all this evidence going for him. He's going from one place to the other. He's finding more and more clues. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, he's finally kind of buying into what he's supposed to be doing and who he really is. and then he just kind of, it's like he takes 2 or 3 steps back and kind of forgets. And, it's just kind of like, wait a minute. You're starting to second guess everything all over again. It's just, to me, it kind of took me out of it a little bit. But for me, by far, the worst performance was Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, I agree.
He was way over the top. I thought John Chu was a waste. You could have totally taken him out of it. I like him. I would have liked to have seen him more, but his whole performance is in the trailer.
Yeah,
From the time that you see him till the time that he dies. And again, that's not a spoiler. It's all in the trailer.
Just along those lines, I would like to have seen more of Bill Nighy. His character was...
He gets about as much screen time as Quado did in the first film.
Yeah.
Right.
But with a film like this, though, a sci-fi extravaganza, really the actors are only half of it. You've also got your special effects, all the production that goes into it, the directing, the stunts, the whole look and feel of it. How do you guys feel like this matched up, not just against the first one, but just every other sci-fi film that's out there these days? Did you like the look of it? Did you think the directing was quality, stunts, production in general?
The action, effects, stunts, everything clicked and worked. A lot of the chases were exciting. There's a chase with Colin Farrell where he's going through, I don't know if it's rooftops or cityscapes or however you want to phrase it, but basically houses that are outside. And I think that was a really exciting chase. But outside of that, everything just felt bland. I thought the special effects were great. The cityscapes were great. Everything looked great. But the whole movie just felt so boring. Just so boring. Seriously.
It had a lack of color, I think is
sorry, this movie should have been a hell of a ride, and it felt like it was just a very dystopian future, and it was very I don't know, chrome. I don't know why the word chrome keeps coming in my head. It just feels like a very gray movie. It feels very bland.
See, to me, it felt like Blade Runner, but somebody turned on the lights.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it.
It took the fun out of it.
It's a fucking post-apocalyptic kind of a story. How many colors are you expecting in these kinds of dingy futures where all of humanity is crammed into these, tiny areas where instead of being able to build outward, they kind of have to now go upward?
I'm not talking of gray in terms of color. They're talking about color. I'm saying it's gray in terms of the film. The film is very bland. It's boring. It's not. They have everything going for it, and I felt like it was not riveting, except for that one chase. I was not enthralled once. I was bored most of the movie, and none of it's bad. I mean, except when Kate Beckinsale, when she was on the screen, the movie lit up because it's the only time the movie's any fun. I think I still say Colin Farrell was okay, but he was not exciting. He was not. I was not looking forward to seeing him. I was just like, when's Kate Beckinsale coming back? And not because she's hot, just because she's the only interesting thing in this movie. Jessica Biel is boring as hell. So seeing this movie, when I say gray, I really mean it's just an average film. Very, very average.
I kind of feel the same way with the special effects. Some of those big cityscapes, like you're talking about, they looked very busy and very detailed. But like you said, it's almost like the way it's shot. It just felt like not sharp. Is the only way I can describe it. I think the direction was good, especially some of the choreography and the fight scenes. There's one fight scene in particular that's in a very cramped, close quarters area that I thought was awesome. That just was very quick and very, very exciting. Again, it was a scene that Kate Beckinsale. God, how do you say her name?
Beckinsale.
Sail.
Beckinsale. And that scene was awesome. It was very, very fun, very intense. Because it could have gone any one of two ways, and I think a lot of that choreography and the fight scenes were very interesting for me. Justin, obviously you must disagree, so let's hear
I
you.
have to be the fucking anti-Aaron.
You're not the anti-Aaron. You're the anti-4 of us. Just saying.
3 of you, dickhead. I could not disagree more. I really loved the grayness of the tone of the cityscapes and of the environment and of the film. When it comes to a post-apocalyptic sort of a movie, one that's set in this kind of environment, I like that look. And for me, that really worked. I thought the way that they created these cities that were just kind of built layer on top of layer on top of layer worked so well for me. I thoroughly enjoyed the look of it. I thought the directing was really nice. There's this scene, and we've all seen it in the trailers, where Colin Farrell in the recall place shoots up a bunch of cops. I never really enjoyed that scene in the trailers because it kind of felt a little slow and uninteresting. I felt like in the film, either they sped it up or they added a few things to it because it felt much more exciting and fun in the movie as opposed to when I saw it on trailers. It felt like it really started to slow down a bit towards the ending of it. But as far as production goes, as far as the look of it and the directing and the choreography of the fights, thoroughly entertained. I really thought they did a fantastic job of making that film look cool. There's some bullshit science running through it, but the look of it, I could not have been more satisfied. Let's go ahead and sum up, what are your thoughts on the film? I'll go ahead, and since I've been on a roll, I'll finish my roll off. I went into it with pretty low expectations and left much more satisfied than I ever thought I would be. It's definitely not an introspective piece. I think the original Total Recall was actually a bit more introspective. I really enjoyed them. I thought it looked fantastic. I thought the performances, more often than not, were really cool. Loved a lot of the production design. By the time it was done, I would have happily sat down and watched it again. I think if I'm going to give it a 1 out of $10 rating, easily 8.5. Easily. Wow. I could even maybe go a 9 if with Kate Beckinsale herself. Just, again, a force of nature. She is relentless in this film. Relentless.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. For me, this was just kind of a classic example of don't show me too much in the trailer. This to me was a classic example of what we talk about. You see basically the whole movie in the trailer. And again, I don't know, maybe some of this is because I know the basic plot, but it just felt felt like so many scenes were ruined. To me, there was no reason to show meeting John Chu hooking up Colin Farrell, and then Colin Farrell killing all those guards in the preview. I went in with pretty low expectations, and it lived up to my expectations. Didn't feel like there was any drama. I thought the scenery and the set design was fantastic, but that combined with the hotness of Kate Beckinsale, it just wasn't enough for me to give it a good score. I'd give it a $4 out of 10.
Shit, I didn't expect it that low.
I feel pretty much the same way. I went in with pretty low expectations, but it came out slightly higher than what I had expected to see. The movie was just okay, in my opinion. Not a whole lot that made me wow, except for Kate Beckinsale's performance. I did like some of the choreography, some of the look, but it just needed to be a little bit more crisp, in my opinion. The story seemed a little muddy at the end. I was still kind of confused as to what the protagonist was going for. And maybe we can talk about that after the off air. But this movie is not one I would recommend to run out, but definitely check out later. I actually give it a 5 out of $10.
I love the production values, the effects. There's like 2 action scenes that I thought were pretty exciting. And Kate Beckinsale's probably one of my favorite villains this year, honestly. I mean, she was that good. But Colin Farrell, Jessica Biel bored the shit out of me. The movie bored the shit out of me. I was not riveted, not excited. We watched the original this weekend, and it's cheesy. It's poorly acted. The direction is kind of funny. The special effects are so outdated, and it's so much more fun than this movie. Mm-hmm. So if $10 is the full price of admission, I'd give it $5.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Fuck you guys.
Nobody's taking away from your fun. If you liked it, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It's kind of like heroin. It's just not for everybody.
You know what? We all spent the same amount of money, and I had a good time.
Okay, speed round. This is where each week we do any quick reviews that we've seen that we previously reviewed or are new to DVD. I'm going to do Ice Age Continental Drift first. I went and saw that. That's right.
I cannot believe they let you in the theater.
And I was wearing a long coat, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
Scrat continues his obsessive hunt for that stupid acorn, and of course affects the climate of the Earth one more time because that's what they taught you in science class. This time, it causes the land to part and create continents, which of course Manny, Sid, and Diego drift away on. So they spend the majority of the film trying to find their way back to Manny's family. They run into a monkey pirate who's played by Peter Dinklage and his crew, and everything goes, which I didn't know going in, which is kind of a cool
I didn't know that either.
Find. Yeah, it's a pretty cool little find. And everything goes wrong as the trio have to work their way back through the pirates, drifting and other obstacles, all to get back home. All the normal voices, Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Leary are back, and they continue to do their jobs very well. There's lots of other celebrities that pop up. Jennifer Lopez, Wanda Sykes, Queen Latifah, Nicki Minaj is in there. I don't know why. For really no reason whatsoever. Like, none of them add anything to the story. I get why the main guys are in there. I don't understand why these guys are in there. whatever. The comedy in the film never really raises to the Pixar level, which it's not clever or astute, but it's very much aimed safely at kids. And with the exception of a couple of Dinklage's choice descriptions on how he got his name of Captain Gut, it's very much family flick all the way. If you have kids, they're going to love it. So bottom line, I went in thinking this was going to be awful, and it ended up being a cute, fun little flick that if I had young kids, they would love to see it. So I give it 6 out of 10. I give it more than Total Recall.
Wow.
Guy, you saw Ass to Mouth?
No, actually, automatic teller machine, abbreviated ATM. This is a movie from a smaller studio, not a whole lot of well-known actors, but 3 coworkers are basically trapped in an ATM vestibule while an unknown guy wearing a parka is trying to kill them. It seems like a very cheesy storyline, and it kind of is, but it's not nearly as bad as I anticipated. It's a slightly clever concept that actually flowed well for its hour-and-a-half length. Some of what happened seemed very, oh, come on. Really? Come on.
They're trapped in an ATM? That should say it all.
Well, I mean, you think about it, because in order those ATM vestibules, you have to have your card to be able to get into it. Mm-hmm. And if the guy outside trying to get them doesn't have that card and can't get into it, of course, if you were planning this whole thing out, you think you could have picked up an ATM card from that bank. But that was
you can't break the window?
Well, they're bulletproof glass.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So, but the ending actually worked. It had a little bit of a twist at the end that was kind of satisfying. It's nothing that I'm going to recommend to rush out and pick up. You have to see, but it was kind of a fun little different change of pace for a horror film. Not super gory or anything like that. There were some intense moments, and I actually bought the actors' performances. There is one thing that happens in the final shot of the film that was genuinely creepy for me personally, and I'm not going to give it away, but it was very cool. Kind of a geographical thing, but I liked it better than Total Recall. I'm not going to lie. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Now let's go to box office. Total Recall opened to $25.5 million and literally made a smudge more than the 1990 Arnold Schwarzenegger flick opened to, which is not very good for a $150 million movie. Diary of a Wimpy Kid 3 opened to $14.6 million, which is a little lower than the $20+ million openings of the last 2 flicks, but they don't cost much to make, so it'll make a profit. And Dark Knight Rises held number 1 for the 3rd week in a row with $35.7 million and $353 million total. It's made over $700 million worldwide. Number 2 for the year, behind Avengers.
All right, well, we've got 4 movies that we're going to be talking about this week. One of them opens August 15th. The other 3 open up on August 17th. As I usually do, we'll go in chronological order. The first film is The Odd Life of Timothy Green. It's a fantasy drama directed by Peter Hedges, and it comes out August 15th. In the film, Cindy Green, played by Jennifer Garner, and Jim Green, Joel Edgerton, are unable to conceive, so they bury all their wishes for a baby in a box in their backyard. The following day, they wake up to find a 10-year-old child, Timothy, on their doorstep. But the child is not all that he appears to be. Coming out of his feet, so no shit. Scotty, of all of us, I think you're probably the biggest fan of whimsy, and this film seems to have heartwarming whimsy coming out of just about every orifice. Are you interested in The Odd Life of Timothy Green?
I'm really not, personally. This looks like it's trying way too hard to be incredibly sweet. I mean, at least in the trailer. I'm honestly not sure who this movie's targeted for. It's Disney, which makes me think kids, but the story seems too... it seems too much for younger kids. It's not animated. There's not a whole lot of funny things going on the screen. I think adults will be bored with the story and find it too cheesy or hokey. I don't know, older people that might be interested in this. It's not for me. It's something I'm going to rush out to see, but it looks kind of cute.
It looks way too saccharine for my taste. All right, next one, Paranorman. This one's a 3D stop-motion animated adventure film produced by the Caroline creators at a company called Leica and distributed by Focus Features. It's August 17th, which these final 3 films will all be August 17th. The voice cast includes Casey Affleck, Tempest Bledsoe, Jeff Garlin, John Goodman, and a shitload of other lesser actors. The story for this one is that the small New England town of Blythe Hollow comes under siege by the undead. Only a misunderstood local boy named Norman Babcock, who has the ability to speak with the dead, is able to prevent the destruction of his town by a centuries-old witch's curse. He'll also have to take on ghosts, witches, vampires, and worst of all, the moronic grown-ups. But this young ghoul whisperer may find his paranormal activities pushed to their otherworldly limits. Aaron, as our resident kiddie film connoisseur, will this be another one of your date movies for you? Should we call this one Peta-Norman?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, right now I got to call my lawyer.
Peta-Norman?
Yeah, I get it.
I cracked myself up.
I actually think it looks like a good cartoon. Looks interesting. I don't know if I'll rush out and see it, but if I had kids, I would take them to see it.
I'm intrigued by the storyline that Justin just described because I didn't get any of that from the trailer. There's no dialogue in this trailer at all. Mm-hmm. It's a really odd trailer. It's music only throughout the whole thing, and I didn't get any of that story from what I saw. I don't know. I think that was.
I don't know what trailer you saw, but everyone I've seen it's got voices in it.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen any.
He can turn his speakers on.
No, there was music. I must have seen one with
He
that.
had his iPod on.
Poor Scotty.
Yeah.
Why is Third Eye Blind playing? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's not really doing a whole lot for me. There's a couple of jokes that I chuckled at, but just not really enough to get me into the movies to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for me, this one, even though it is not a Tim Burton film, Tim Burton actually has a film similar to it coming out later this year called Frankenweenie. But it looks too much like a Tim Burton film, and because of that, it is now sullied just by association in my brain.
I think Tim Burton must have hurt someone in your family.
I don't know what it is. He may have touched me, and I'm suppressing it. But I do not like that man.
I think so.
All right, next up, Sparkle is a musical directed by Salim Akil, set for, again, August 17th. Inspired by The Supremes, Sparkle is a remake of the 1976 film of the same name, which centered on three singing teenage sisters from Harlem who form a girl group in the late 1950s. This remake takes place in Detroit in the 1960s during the Motown era. The film stars Jordan Sparks, Derek Luke, Whitney Houston, Mike Epps, and CeeLo Green. Sparkle features songs from the original film written by Curtis Mayfield, as well as new compositions by R. Kelly. This film will be the debut, theatrically, of American Idol winner Jordan Sparks. Sparkle also marks Whitney Houston's fifth and final feature in a film role. She did die on February 11th, 2012, 3 months after filming for this ended. The film will be dedicated to her memory. Scotty, I got to come back to you on this one since you're probably the biggest music fan on the show. Is there any interest in this? Are we looking at another Dreamgirls, or will this Sparkle just kind of fizzle?
Probably go with the fizzle. Mildly interested to see CeeLo Green's acting ability, but that's about it. I am a big music fan, not particularly this style of music. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. I do like Jordan Sparks. I think she's a good singer, and I find it kind of funny that her name is listed before Whitney Houston. Granted, she's the main character. I get that, but especially with Whitney Houston's death recently, you would think that would be kind of the forefront in this movie as far as selling tickets. But it's not something I'm going to rush out and see. How about you guys?
I really am I'm confused. That's the word I'm looking for. That the advertisement doesn't pimp Whitney Houston a lot more.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I mean, not just have her top billing, but they hardly plug her in the ads. Now, is it because they're afraid of making people not want to see it because she's passed away, or what?
People going too soon?
I think that people probably, if they did, there would probably be a lot of people who were saying, look at them. They're just trying to make money off of her dead memory.
Right.
And I think there would be some
backlash. Yeah.
I think people would have a right to kind of say that. I think she's the biggest person in this film, but because she did die,
Spoiler.
It makes people hesitant. People hesitant to want to use her as the driving force. Jordan Sparks is still alive. She is hopefully the person who will go on to have a big career in whatever it is she does. So let's put this movie on her as opposed to on a dead woman's memory. All right. Well, I like Jordan Sparks. I think she's a great singer. I will not be going out to the theaters to see it, but I'll probably check it out when it hits DVD. All right, our last film, The Expendables 2. This one's an ensemble action film directed by Simon West of Black Hawk Down fame and written by Richard Wink and Sylvester Stallone. It's, of course, a sequel to the 2010 action film and stars Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Chuck Norris, Randy Couture, Terry Crews, Liam Hemsworth, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bruce Willis, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. The story for a film like this really doesn't matter, but fuck it, let's roll with it. After taking a seemingly simple job from Mr. Church, Bruce Willis's character, the Expendables find their plans gone awry. Oh no, who'd have thunk it? And one of their own is brutally murdered by rival mercenary Jean Villain. Really? Your villain's name is Villain? Played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. The Expendables set out into hostile territory with new members Bill the Kid. Oh my god. Played by Liam Hemsworth, and Maggie, played by Nan, to put a stop to a deadly weapon and gain their revenge against the people who killed their brother in arms. Brian, you're a brawny man of action, so I know you have to be all swole up to see this movie, right?
I am super swole. This is out of these four, this is by far my pick. The first one was such a fun ride, and it's so tongue in cheek. I just can't wait for this. Every movie I've seen where they've shown a preview of this, the audience has clapped and cheered. So I know I'm not the only one out there.
I can't
Aaron,
wait.
Scotty?
I can't wait. I'm pumping iron right now, waiting to see it.
Are you pumping some iron right now? Just
I am right now.
getting that gun show ready?
And is it really Jean Villain? Is it really?
Yes.
Wow, that's awful.
Just one L away from villain.
That's terrible.
That's pretty awful.
Or is it awesome? I mean,
I think it's actually kind of awesome.
yeah.
I think it's kind of awesome.
I mean, fuck it, run with it. Let's not take any of this seriously.
Wow.
And they couldn't name him anything other than Jean?
Is that how they picked him up? Because Jean-Claude Van Damme wouldn't have taken the role otherwise?
He's just, dude, if you don't say my name, I don't respond.
They just don't want to get confused on the set, you know.
Right.
Just, I don't know. I really loved the first one. It was just a dumb, fun action flick. It's got so many big action stars. And now that when you're adding Lone Wolf McQuaid, John McClane, all the other big action stars. And yeah, I'm using their character names. You're adding all those into the mix. It just makes it more fun. Yeah. I mean, if you're going into this movie and expecting art, you're an idiot. There's no art to be found. There's not going to be deep, moving characters. And I also want to see, what is his name? Terry Crews, his giant big ass gun. I want to see that again because that was fantastic. It's just one of those movies. It's a fun flick. It's something you go with your dad and your grandpa and your uncle. It's a manly man's flick to make you feel like you're a man, even though you could never do anything that happens in this movie.
Gotta go eat some meat afterwards.
Fuck yeah, just throw it on a grill.
You don't get popcorn, you just get steak. And you just take it.
I know, you should be able to get like a big turkey fucking leg, like over at Medieval Times.
And no silverware. You just gotta eat it with your hands.
That's
exactly.
Right. Fuck silverware.
Exactly.
I will actually be watching the original this week. I have not yet seen it, so I'll be seeing both within a week of each other.
Scotty hadn't seen the film yet.
Poor Scott. Poor Scott. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this one.
Spoiler alert, Stallone dies.
And I gotta say, I love the symbol that they used over the two films, that chrome skull with the knives and guns forming angel wings. I would almost get that tattooed. Yeah. I just didn't think it would make me look like a complete douche. But it's awesome. So I can't wait to see this. But of all four of these films, fellas, I don't know which ones you're going to pick. But which one of these four films will you be most likely to go see?
Expendables 2.
Expendables 2.
Duh.
Here I thought Sparkle was going to run away with it. All right. Making another clean sweep. Expendables 2.
Got a lot of those.
What's this movie?
Now let's go to What's This Movie? Each week we play a movie clip and we encourage our listeners to guess what it is. And those that guess it right go into a drawing for a free I'm a Ho t-shirt.
Hey, who won last week, Aaron?
Well, let me tell you. Last week's answer was Sin City, which I just rewatched it again, and it's a great movie. Those that guessed correctly were Brian M., Katie M., Michael H., Sean M., Dan M., Greg S., and Ashley S. Now, those were the ones who guessed right. So right now, Scott is going to pull a name from those that got it right, and they will win a T-shirt. Who is it?
It's Michael H.
Michael H. Congratulations. You won an I'm a Ho T-shirt. So we will be in contact with you. I think he was on Twitter. So you will. I'll be giving you a direct tweet and find out where you live.
That's
A direct tweet from Aaron.
That's right.
Save that, print it.
That's right. And I will autograph your bum if you like. Now, here's this week's movie clip, and it comes from a listener. This is Paul S. And this is a hard one because I had no idea what this is from. So here you go. Here's your movie clip.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Okay, if you think you know what that movie clip was, then send us an email to feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. That's feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com, or send it to H_outsider on Twitter. Those that guess it right will name you off on the air and be entered into a drawing for a Hollywood Outsider T-shirt. Right now, let's go to the couch where we talk about TV and home video news. Just a couple things real quick on TV. FX closed a deal with rap legend Dr. Dre for a 1-hour drama that explores the music and crime business and how the two intersect.
I'm actually interested in this. As you guys know, I love films about music, especially ones that deal with how it's made and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And the idea of the music and crime coming together really interests me. It reminds me a lot of that film Hustle and Flow. Did you guys see that one?
That is a damn good movie.
It really is. I love that movie, and anything more like that in a TV show sounds awesome.
I hope Eminem pops up.
He probably will.
That would be great. I'm interested. FX has a good reputation as far as I'm concerned for making quality shows, and Dr. Dre I think is a really smart businessman. Mm-hmm. So I think you put the two together, and you're going to get something interesting.
I'm sure he's got lots of experiences to draw from.
What kind? Are you speaking of criminal activities or music activities?
I'm just saying
Brian,
experiences.
what's your innuendo?
Yeah, what are you trying
I'm
to
just
say?
saying experiences here. That's all.
All
I think we know
musicians
what you're saying.
all rappers are criminals? Is that what you're saying?
I think
I'm just
all black
saying.
people are criminals.
The guy's been around.
That was
That's
the
all.
implication I got.
I mean, that's for you to interpret however you feel. I'm not saying shit. Just in case his ass is listening.
Fox
Like free headphones.
Fox has bought the series The Beach, based on the book as well as the Leonardo DiCaprio film from a few years ago, about a group that becomes disenchanted with the world and decide to start a new society in paradise.
Yeah, it's interesting that they would have to buy the rights for the book and the movie, because it always been my understanding that movie rights were separate from TV rights, which are separate from other rights. So I'm not quite sure why they had to go with both, but I'm not a law dude. Aaron, you're the lawyer, so maybe you know. But I never saw the movie. Leonardo DiCaprio at that time when it came out was not an actor I was at all interested in. And a movie about him on a beach certainly had no interest for me. So if it makes it to a TV show, depending on the cast, I'll probably check it out. But there's really nothing about the story that interests me. Just a bunch of people on a beach trying to perfect society. Maybe I'm not seeing something that I should be, but there's not a lot of interest here on my part.
Me neither. And it's because there's different legalities for each medium. That's all.
Right. But they bought the rights for both the movie and the book, which I'm not quite sure why they did. But be that as it may, Fox will be doing it, so I'm sure they'll cancel it halfway through the first season.
Now let's go to DVD and Blu-ray.
All right, we'll be looking at the DVD and Blu-ray releases for August 14th. First off, the first one is The Raid Redemption. This is a SWAT team that becomes trapped in a tenement run by a ruthless mobster and his army of killer thugs. Also, Snowtown. This is a movie that's based on true events. It follows a 16-year-old Jamie who falls in with his mother's new boyfriend and his crowd of self-appointed neighborhood watchmen. A relationship that leads to a spree of torture and murder. Also on DVD are 3 television series. First off, the 3rd season of Community, as well as the 3rd season of Glee. And finally, Dexter's 5th season is released on DVD as well. But the big one that is more prominent here is the release on August 18th, which is the Hunger Games, the first of the Hunger Games trilogy.
Okay.
Can I just say,
No.
I fucking hate Friday releases for DVDs.
That's cool,
Why?
because isn't this a Saturday?
Why? No, it's August 14th is a Tuesday. 1452. Whatever the fuck. I don't like it.
Makes even less sense.
Tuesday is the day DVDs come out. That's when I go to Best Buy. That's when it needs to come out. This whole releasing later in the week is bullshit. I don't like it. It needs to stop. Done.
I'll make a couple phone calls, see if I can get that changed for you.
Fuck. I hate going to Best Buy going, where's this thing at? Oh, that doesn't come out till later in the week. Ugh.
You know, if you go the following Tuesday, it'll be there again.
Yeah.
Well, no, knowing my Best Buys, it'll be sold out. Because they've done it before.
You're, in fact, getting it like 4 days earlier than because they're doing it on a Friday.
Don't fucking try and give me any bullshit. No, it's early for the next week. No. It needs to come out on a Tuesday. I don't care what Tuesday, but a Tuesday.
Take that silver lining and shove it up your ass.
That's right. Fuck it. This is a dark cloud moment.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
Next, we'll move on to our Flashback DVD Blu-ray segment. This is where each week one of us HOs brings to the table a little-known or obscure film that they'd like the rest of us in the group, as well as our listeners, to check out. This week it's Brian's turn. So, Brian, what film do you have for us?
All right, got a quick question. How easy do you think it would be to start a dictatorship or turn a prominent country into a dictatorship?
Let's ask Aaron.
Well, there's one high school teacher who has a week-long class activity project. It's like a project week type of thing, and he plays a little social experiment with his class, and basically creates this little dictatorship, and it basically spins horribly out of control. There's people get hurt. People take it a little too serious. Some don't take it serious enough. It's a German movie. It's called The Wave. Came out in 2008. Really not many people in here that you would recognize. Maybe you might recognize them, but we don't really know them, over here. So, but it is, like I said, it's about a high school teacher, and he basically teaches his class what's necessary for a dictatorship. The class kind of takes on this project. It draws the interest of other students in the school and even people outside of the school, and grows out of hand. And like I said, just kind of spins horribly out of control. I found this on Netflix the other day and was just captivated by it. It does have subtitles, but it just, the story is just excellent. I was very impressed by this movie. I would, probably out of a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this a strong 8. Wow. But again, it's called The Wave. You can find it on Netflix, and highly, highly recommend checking this one out.
Okay. Now let's go to your Stump the HO answer. Earlier, we went to the Stump the HO question, and the question was, in the 1990 original of Total Recall, an actor before Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually signed to play Doug Quaid and was prepping for filming. The original production company went bankrupt, and the project was picked up by HOtal. Who was the original actor? Was it A, Dennis Quaid, B, Patrick Swayze, C, Bruce Willis, or D, Steven Seagal?
I'm on pins and needles.
Scott and Justin both picked Dennis Quaid.
No, we didn't.
So wrong.
We picked Swayze.
And Brian picked Patrick Swayze. It's almost like I hear talking, but I don't hear talking. Brian, you nailed it. Congratulations, Brian. You're the real deal.
I am the real deal.
Way to steal my answer.
Now let's go to our From the Outside In topic. It'll kind of be a short topic this week. The topic was sent in to us a couple weeks ago. We just haven't had time to fit it in, but this week with the news that Sam Raimi is off World of Warcraft movie, Legendary Pictures has also hired Charles Leavitt, who wrote Blood Diamond, to give the script another go in an attempt to get the film going. We decided this is the perfect time to give this email a shot. So here's the email. I would love to hear the host talk about this. We all know that most movies based off video games usually are chalked up as bad movies that should go straight to home video. There have been some very bad ones, and on very few occasions we get blessed with a good one from time to time. I would like to know what is the best and worst movie. That means, we pick one, based on a video game. You can also throw in some honorable mention of a film that maybe most people loathe, but you take enjoyment from. Stingray. So, Scott, you are the resident. I do nothing but play video games. Yeah. Why don't you go first? What's your favorite and worst video game flick?
Well, my favorite, I already know you're going to yell at me for a couple of reasons.
Why am I going to yell at you, dude? I don't care.
Yeah, you are.
Fuck him. Say what you got to say.
That's right.
My My favorite video game adaptation, and I actually picked this before this is added to our format, is the Silent Hill remake. Not because of the quality of the film so much, but because I thought it was amazing how they captured the atmosphere of Silent Hill in the video game. I know that's not why a reason to like a movie, as you're rolling your eyes at me right now. It has to be independent from the game and that kind of thing. I get that, but
obviously you don't.
There were certain shots in the movie that were damn near identical to shots in the game that were very iconic. And the Silent Hill series is incredibly creepy, and they really capture that in the first 20 minutes or so of that movie, and I really like that a lot. I like how they incorporated Pyramid Head into it, just enough to be creepy, but not way too much like it appears they're going to be doing in the sequel. So like I said, I enjoyed that movie far more than I actually thought I was going to.
You know what, Scott? Don't take that shit from him. You like it for whatever reason you like it.
Don't let the hater.
If it's because that movie reminds you of the video game, then you do it. Own that shit.
Thanks, Brian.
Don't drink his haterade.
What's your least favorite?
My least favorite was Wing Commander. Wing Commander.
You mother.
Wing Commander was a really good game on PC. It was a lot of fun, very cool story, fighting the Kilrathi and all that. And then they made this movie with Jason or Lillard, Matthew Lillard was in it. Freddie Prinze Jr. from She's All That.
It was like Scooby-Doo 3.
It had nothing to do with the original Wing Commander. It was just a cheesy, campy, didn't make any sense, blow-off sci-fi flick that had absolutely nothing to do with the game. So again, both for my best and my worst is because of how close or how different they went to the original video games. Those are my picks.
Justin, you're the second resident gamer. What do you think? You can't steal somebody's worst. If it's a mutual worst, then it's a worst.
All right.
He's got to change it really quick.
No, fuck it.
How do you change your least favorite movie?
Well, we'll get to that. All right. My favorite one is probably going to have to be Mortal Kombat because it came out of nowhere. There is no reason whatsoever that a game with a story that dumb should have resulted in a film that not only worked to the game's characters and story, but also kind of worked as a film. And it was, I think, the first video game movie that actually people enjoyed. The sequels sucked balls. Everybody knows it. But the first film, it was actually fun, and the character interpretations were good. The music was fun. Everything about it was really good. I think video games, unfortunately, are hard to adapt. There have been very few movies that have done it well. I think Lara Croft is a fairly decent film. I liked the Resident Evil movies. I even think Prince of Persia is not all that bad. But Mortal Kombat captured the spirit of the game. It was fun. And I still remember going to the theater to see it and just people standing up shouting Mortal Kombat in the mode that it's set in. And I had a great time watching it. And I think that was actually the first Paul W. Anderson film that I ever saw. And who went on to do the Resident Evil movies. Least favorite, fucking Scotty stole it. But yes, Wing Commander. Wing Commander is a video game series on the PC that I adore, and I have a lot of deep feelings tied up around, because if it wasn't for Wing Commander, I wouldn't be writing today. So that game series means a lot. And Chris Roberts, who created Wing Commander and directed all of the cutscenes that were in the video Wing Commander 3 and 4 and Prophecy, is the person who actually wrote and directed the film. So by all rights, this should have been a literal translation of the game into film form. The creators there making it. How the fuck did he screw this up that bad? I mean, the Kilrathi in the games look like cats. In this one, they look like hairless rats. The ships look nothing like the ships in the game, and it has almost nothing to do with the game. I only have to assume that studio heads and dipshits came in with note after note, and he didn't have the cachet that it would have taken to say, no, I'm doing my own film. So he had to bow to everybody's whim, and what came out broke my fucking heart.
Aren't you a big fan of the soundtrack, though?
That said, the score for the film, the soundtrack is outstanding. And I have written, I don't know how many pages of novels to that score. It is the only good thing that film has to offer. Fuck Chris Roberts for making it and everybody who was in it. I would actually give one honorable mention to Halo Legends. It's if any of you remember the Matrix animated DVD that came out, it had a series of animated short movies. Halo Legends does the same thing. Unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to get a Halo movie, and for that, a part of me weeps. But there are several of the animated shorts in the Halo Legends collection that are actually quite good. And I kind of hold on to those as only the real movie I'll probably ever get for it. So yeah, that would be an honorable mention for me.
Brian?
As far as my best, I'm going to go with Resident Evil. I really liked it. It was, I don't know, just I think part of my liking for it, though, was actually watching it with the commentary. And I guess getting the insight from Mila Jovovich. And I just thought it was a fun movie. Didn't quite capture the total feel of the video game, but it did kind of make it its own, and it was a pretty good action flick. As far as my worst, I would say In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale.
Good choice.
And my...
How do you pick from Uwe Boll's films?
You know, Burt Reynolds as a medieval king, you really don't need much more than that to make it a horrible movie. So,
And your honorable mention was what?
Hitman. I think it's kind of caught up to a little bit more crap than it needed to.
Okay.
I thought it wasn't great, but I don't think it was as horrible as the critics made it out to be.
Well, I'm going to go. My best video game film was Hitman. I thought Timothy the Elephant surprised the hell out of me. I thought he made Mr. Agent Man extremely likable and interesting, and he was actually a pretty cool, cold-ass killer. I really liked, what was the guy's name that played the villain? He was on Prison Break, T-Bag, Robert Knepper. Played one of the villains in the film, and I thought he was great. It's just a really straightforward action flick. It doesn't feel like a video game adaptation. It just feels like an action flick. I just liked what they did with it. And there's not a whole lot of quality to choose from in video game films, in my opinion. My worst is Uwe Boll again. It's Alone in the Dark. It's a Christian Slater. I hated watching that movie because I used to love Christian Slater, really did. And to see him in that dreck and to watch it, I mean, it just made me sad for him and his life in general. and the movie itself is just awful. And an honorable mention is Prince of Persia, because I think while the movie I don't think is fantastic, the parkour in that movie is awesome to watch. Just it's amazing to watch. I think they did a fantastic job with that. The story was kind of lacking, and I really didn't like the ending. But outside of that, the movie itself wasn't bad. And I still watch it every now and then. It's a fun movie to watch.
I really wish one of you guys would have said Max Payne is the worst, because, oh my God.
I was expecting Mario Brothers from somebody.
Oh, hell, who expected good out of that?
Well, now let's go into closing. Let's go into emails. First email comes from Dan M. He says he was answering the question, which Mickey Rourke in Sin City, he thinks. Assuming he's right, he thinks Sin City is a classic movie. I wish they would do another Sin City movie. There's still a lot of material from the books that can make a sequel with that same stylized Frank Miller look and feel. Any rumors out there of another one? Thanks, Dan M. To answer your question, yes. Mickey Rourke is actually in negotiations to star in Sin City 2 as we speak, and the flick is supposed to start rolling soon. It's officially greenlit. So probably in the next year or so, you should see another Sin City 2 with Robert Rodriguez.
Is it going to be co-directed again?
Yep. Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. Brian.
All right. This one is from Greg S. He says, easy, Sin City. Here's hoping I win the shirt. Well, I'm sorry to break the news to you, Greg. You didn't.
Jesus.
Way to sugarcoat it, man.
Well, guess what, Greg? You didn't.
Come try again, Greg. Brian doesn't
Yep.
speak for all of us. In fact, he's no longer going to be affiliated with the show. We're going to move in another direction.
He also says, that is one of my favorite scenes. Next to every part with Rosario Dawson, that is. Where has she been anyway?
I don't know. What is she doing?
I don't know.
After
She's not been
Clerks
around
2.
too much.
Yeah.
She was in Alexander. That's all I need.
She was the only good thing out of that piece of shit.
But she was the good thing in that piece of shit.
Yes, she was very, very good in that.
Thanks, Greg. We're sorry Brian was insulting. Justin?
Yeah. All right, this one's from Paul S. He says, just wanted to say great job on the last HOcast. Well, you're welcome. Also, I have no clue what the answer to this week's clip is, but I don't like losing, so I entered the donate to the HO fund and donated to your PayPal account because I know that would be one I could win. Well, you are absolutely right. And thank you for all the great work you guys do on the podcast. It's definitely one of the things I look forward to listening to each week. Paul S. Paul, thanks for the email. And I'm glad you look forward to listening to it. I mean, I know Aaron's a fucking pain in the ass, but you stick around and we do appreciate it.
And thanks for buying the shirt.
Yeah.
Indeed. Thanks for donating.
That helps.
I don't see a cut of it, but, you know, whatevs. I'm here for the love.
Scotty?
All right, our last email here comes from Brian M. He also guessed the answer was Sin City and then says, I've been listening since the beginning of summer after hearing a promo over on Dead Robot Society.
Woot!
My favorite pop culture themed podcast, Extra Hot Great, just ended, and having you guys around helps salve that fresh wound somewhat, although I prefer the older intro to Justin's coming attractions. The dirty joke nature of it was far more entertaining than the current rock guitar tune, in my opinion. Keep up the good work, guys. Brian M. I couldn't agree with him more.
Aaron, change that.
Yeah, hey, you wanted rock anthems. You get rock anthems. That's how it works.
Well, no, the crowd has spoken. They want the coming attractions.
I'll work on that in the next episode. I'll try to spruce it up for you, Brian. We'll make it a little better. And also, T-Steve on Twitter forwarded us an article about how movie rentals have plummeted, and Netflix now. And I'm just mentioning this because it was kind of interesting. Netflix now accounts for over 60% of film rentals.
Wow.
Can you believe that? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, I did have a little piece of news you can tack on here in the same sort of a vein.
Okay.
Hulu Plus now on the Apple TV.
Really?
Thank God.
It's now on Apple TV. Really?
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I'm so glad now I don't have to turn on my PlayStation to do it.
Excellent.
Now my Netflix, my Hulu Plus, and my iTunes rentals all on one device. Boom.
Okay, well, the Hollywood Outsider can be found at thehollywoodoutsiders.com, on facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. You can email us if you have any questions or topics or anything else to feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Please tell your friends. We don't gain listeners unless people know about us. Subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader. Listen on your Stitcher radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or any plain old RSS feed. And also remember that you can find us every Thursday from 4 to 6 on RockfordCollegeRadio.com. I want to thank each of the podcasters. Brian Williams is available on Twitter at BrianWMS. Thanks, B.
All right.
Justin McCumber, who is the host of the Dead Robot Society. It's a weekly podcast for aspiring writers, available at deadrobotsociety.com. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you. I'm going to be at the Space City Con in Houston, so if we have any listeners in the Houston area this weekend, that's where I will be. Come by and say hello and buy a copy of Haywire.
It's available.
Which is available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles and iBooks and on the Kindle and on the Nook, and it's an audiobook.
So are you going to be sitting at the Hollywood Outsider booth at this con so they know where to look for you?
No. I'll be at the Griffithwood Press booth.
Oh, he's pimping his book. He's pimping his book.
I'll tell everybody about the podcast, though.
Good man.
There you go. Sign every book with,
The
our
Hollywood
website
Outsider.
written on the
Thanks
pages.
for being a hoe, Justin. There you go.
That'd be awesome.
And Scotty Clark, who's available on Twitter at Scotty Lindsay. Thanks, Scott.
Not a problem. Just want to go on record and say it was not my idea to talk about video games this week. Just saying.
It was not. In fact, he had a whole set of rules about things that he had to follow for this whole episode. So it didn't get drawn into a video game podcast. But he did very well. We're very proud of him. Okay, from Justin, Brian, Scott, and myself, this is the Hollywood Outsider. And remember, the next time you go to the theater, buy popcorn.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. And you're unable to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
So from Aaron, Justin, Brian, and Aaron. Did I already say Aaron?
Scott?
Fuck.
Really?
How do you not finish a movie?
Because I lost interest after about halfway through, and I just felt pathetic.
Squirrel.
The part I laughed out loud was when they're going off introducing each of the individual family members, and they come up to this chick named Sue Bob. Not
Yeah,
making
she
it up.
starts talking about how hot she is.
She's like, I'm the sexy one in the family. And she's
Yeah.
like, I used to be a stripper. And I'm like, oh my God, this chick
She starts dropping it like it's hot. Like,
I almost...
she gives birth, and she's in the, like, her, you know, her little room or whatever, and
In
her
her
cousin, one of
hospital
her
gown.
cousins, somebody is in there with her, and they start, like, dropping, you know, lines right there on the
crushing it
nightstand.
up. Crushing.
Why do I want to watch this movie?
Because it makes you feel a lot better about yourself.
It really does.
Okay, here we go.
Come on, man, let's go.
Let's get this shit to cracking.
I fucking hate you people.
I feel you.
Oh, speaking of which, I saw Deliverance was on AMC. I thought of you, Brian.
Oh, hey.
I thought, oh, look, spring break.